Billy, it's very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too.
Here we are at the St James Theatre, and you're doing Rent. Tell me, as someone who is uninitiated, could you please explain to me what a rent head is?
A rent head.
Do you know what a rent head is?
I think my knowledge of a rent head is someone who has sort of taken the show into their lives.
Into their heart.
Into their heart. And is completely in awe with the issues and the values and the morals the musical brings. And they absolutely are in love with the music, with the characters, and they adore the world that Rent is in.
Yeah, it's that sort of show, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know what it is that makes it have this almost like cult following. I don't know what it is, but I think it just the sort of idea of living without fear, I think, just hits you in the face.
December 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. From here on in, I shoot without a script.
I remember being young and watching the film, and I instantly grabbed onto it. I don't know why, but I did. I think for me, I loved that it was this new type of musical. It was this rocky poppy type musical that I sort of like music I grew up.
How old were you when you saw it?
So I think I was about 14.
So when you watched it, did you know you wanted to be a performer, and you thought,
I knew I wanted to be Mark.
Oh, okay.
I knew I wanted to be Mark. I can literally remember it so vividly, singing the argument between Mark and Roger in my room, and like leaving the gaps for Roger's part and singing along to Mark.
Tell me, would your 14-year-old self think that you're doing it justice?
Well, I hope so. I hope so. I mean, you can't beat Anthony Rapp, but I've taken on a different approach. I've tried to put as much of myself in there as possible. Before in other productions and what other audiences think of Mark is this stereotypical geek, and he does come across geeky. But
you can't play one thing.
No, you can't. And he's a normal guy. He's living with cool people.
Did you meet Anthony Rapp when he was here?
I did on press night. It was very surreal.
Yeah.
Lovely guy.
You don't need to love me or tell me that you do. Don't make me any promises. Just promise we're not through. Don't give me one damn thing, I won't let you call this greed. Just let me give to you, that's the only thing I need. I know that this can work, if you'd plant one simple seed, you'd see it grow. You don't need to love me to know.
Lovely guy. It was very weird because it was on press night. I didn't know who was in the audience.
Oh.
I didn't know who was in the audience, and then in the interval, someone told me, and I was like, "Whew."
I wish you hadn't mentioned that.
Yeah, and then
you could have told me that later.
Yeah, and in What You Own, I sort of come down the ladder in the scene and sing in the middle of the song. I just looked up and I was just like locked eyes with him, and I was like, "Whoa, this is really weird."
How many minutes?
525,600 minutes.
Okay, that song has got to be one of the best ensemble pieces of modern music theatre. Would you say?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. I can remember doing it when I was younger, and it's just those first chords, and you hear the absolute admiration for the song as soon as those chords play in the theatre. You just hear the breath of the audiences, like, this is it, this is the moment.
And it's more an anthem, I guess, isn't it? It's almost like what Can You Hear the People Sing is to Les Mis.
Yes.
It's not so much a song as a call to action, an anthem, isn't it?
Yes, it doesn't really serve much of a narrative in the show. It's almost like this life lesson on how to approach life, and that's what makes it so poignant and powerful. The solo singers in this cast are incredible. They steal the show in like 2 bars. Yeah. I do all the work and then 2 bars and they steal it. Yeah.
What, you're going to be touring with the show?
Yeah, touring after
So
this.
how long were you doing after you leave St James?
We go to the end of May,
Mm-hmm.
so it's a good 5 months or so.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun.
This is not the first show to tackle difficult issues, and there's a number of quite contemporary issues.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to South Pacific and all those sorts of, race issues, but this is based on the story of La Boheme,
Yeah.
and I would say that it certainly turned up the volume on the political angle. Would you agree?
Yes.
From other musicals. I mean, this was pretty at its time. This was pretty out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's funny because now I wouldn't. It doesn't feel as controversial, but it feels almost more relevant.
Right. It's almost like we can let go of the controversy and just look at the issues and the characters, I guess.
Yes, because AIDS and HIV, it was so prominent in the AIDS epidemic. It was so taboo at the time, and this musical really shows how these were just normal people, innocent normal people who unfortunately came in contact with the virus, and it's one of those stories that just shows how love triumphs over anything, and it's also like whether like race, religion, gender, sexuality, it's all about loving without fear and living without fear, and aside from all the political sort of revolting in the story, that's what overrides everything. And I think that's what makes this show very special, and I think it's going to be like that for a long, long time, until the world becomes a better place.
Well, until then, you can keep singing.
Yeah,
exactly. Trying to do that. At least
Yeah,
with the song.
exactly.
It's very lovely to meet you. Good luck
Thank
with
you
the rest
very
of the tour.
Thank you.
And who knows, we might sort of catch up with you in one of the places on tour.
Yeah, it'd be lovely.
I flew in especially from Hong Kong to see it tonight.
Flown all the way from Canada just to see the show.
Fantastic, absolutely amazing.
I loved it. I cried my eyes out.
The meaning behind what was written is still more relevant today than ever, and I think all people around the world should see it and hopefully head more in the direction that Jonathan Larson wanted us to.
Indescribable. Breathtaking.
Spectacular.
Heartbreaking.
Full of love. Amazing.
Go and see it!